We'd like to welcome you to the Professional Equipment Rental Group's year-end roundup. PERG is sponsored by our annual sponsors ARRI, Camera One, Dynamic Rentals, Intelligent, Panavision, and Taylor & Taylor & Associates. In addition, this event is sponsored by all the manufacturers that are here for you to see. That's Aputure, ARRI, ASTERA, Kino Flo, Light Gear, Lumen Radio, Prolight, Rat Pack Controls, I have to get to the whole bottom of the list, Rob's Rain Hats, and Vitek. And we're going to get to start with. Harry, do you have anything to say to start today? Do you want to jump in here, or are you just going to let me take this over?
You go ahead. Yeah. Welcome everybody, and I'm delighted everybody can make it.
Well, let's just jump right into it then, and I'm going to bring in Brandon Lee from Aputure. Brandon, show up here. And
hey everyone.
Hello, sir. So Brandon, I'm gonna sign off here. I'll be back in 5 minutes to lead you out, and we'll have fun then. Well, I'll ask a couple of questions, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
The stage is yours.
Thank you. So I'm Brandon Lay. I'm the product marketing manager at Aputure. And at Aputure, we make LED lighting tools for everyone from the indie filmmaker all the way to now high-end cinematographers and set lighting technicians. And I'm going to show you a quick overview of every product that we make that we have on the floor here today. And it covers a wide range of products from our Lightstorm line. Here, these two products are Nova series and some of our mini LEDs. So Aputure got its start, and one of its key forays into the industry was by utilizing and bringing the universal Bowens mount accessory mount system into the world of film and video lighting. So the Bowens mount system is a mount from the world of photography, and it has the most prolific usage of any particular lighting modifier mount in the world. And because we use the Bowens mount on some of our lights, like the Lightstorm 1200D Pro right here behind me, it makes it compatible with a wide variety of proprietary and non-proprietary modifiers, from a variety of softboxes to Fresnel mounts, as well as projection mounts like a Spotlight or Source 4 type adapter. The 1200D Pro I have here behind me is the brightest Bowens mount point source on the market, and I can say that definitively because we were able to engineer a 1200 watt COB that was able to fit inside the constraints of a Bowens mount, which if we had gone even a little bit bigger, it would have been difficult to utilize inside the Bowens mount. We've had to move to a proprietary mount or a whole new system entirely. The 1200D Pro and the Lightstorm lineup all consist of our Bowens mount point source LEDs, and that's what Lightstorm is. It's a point source LED line that focuses on high intense output and modularity and versatility. The Pro and 1200D Pro and the 600X Pro behind me mean that they are built to withstand high inclement weather conditions. So they have weather resistance, water resistance, and are meant to be beaten up a little bit more than some of our other lights. The 600X Pro behind me, X stands for bicolor, D stands for daylight, and then the other denomination in our product line is C, which stands for full color, like the Nova P600C right here behind me. So the second lineup I'm going to talk to you today is the Nova series. The Nova P600C is right here behind me, and just like its little brother, the Nova P300C, is an Rgb LED soft panel LED. And the P600C, as you might be able to see on screen, has 4 zones of LED engine control, which means has 4 pixels for DMX control. The P600C, because it has a 600 watt output and uses Rgb technology, which allows us to maximize not only higher quality LEDs output, than higher quality color rendition than Rgb or Rgb by itself, Rgb allows us to achieve more output in that, making the P600C with the 600 watt output in a 2x1 form factor, the brightest 2x1 soft panel on the market. I also have here the mini LEDs, including our MC and our Accent series of LEDs. The MC stands for mini color, very straightforward. It is a mini panel LED with a built-in battery, magnets, and wireless charging. So that means while they're sitting inside these cases here, this is our MC12 light production kit, it is actually able to charge using this case, using wireless charging. All I have to do is plug in this AC cable, like I have this one right here, and I can charge all of these 12 lights immediately or overnight, which makes it a really great solution for trucks and rental houses. These MC mini LEDs are great for putting in small pockets of places and great for using eye lights. Mihai Malamar, the DP of Jojo Rabbit, has used these and loves using these, as well as Jeremy Benning has used these in the most recent season of The Expanse. We also have these Accent B7c LEDs. The B in B7c stands for bulb, 7 stands for 7 watt, and C stands for full color, like I mentioned before. These are the only full color smart bulbs on the market that not only have a built-in battery, this battery is 100% internal, it also has onboard control buttons. And all of these lights that I have here today are all controllable via the Stardust Link app, which is our proprietary app ecosystem. Basically, all of these lights not only talk to each other, but also to the app to allow us to control it in a variety of different ways, which makes it great for indie filmmakers who are just renting 1 or 2 ton packages and need to be able to move quickly without the use of wireless DMX or 5-pin DMX. However, if you are looking to use those kinds of things for studio level productions, we have the 1200D Pro, the 600X Pro, and the Nova P600C, which all feature 5-pin DMX 512. But all of these lights also, Sean Dane, shout out to you, feature Lumina Radio CRMX compatibility, as well as the 1200D Pro and the 600X Pro featuring ArtNet and SACN via Ethernet and EtherCon for the 1200D Pro. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of everything that we have on the floor today for Aputure, and there's a lot more that we can talk about in the breakout room a little bit later on. Gary, can't hear you.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I am. It's how that goes. Even I forget to turn my own things off. If I'm going to do it, everybody else is going to do it too. So you might as well. I figured I'd start for everybody else. And I thank you, Brandon. That was a good review of your product line. And people don't think about those kinds of things. Right now, Ned, why don't you pop up our polls and put them in the chat so people can start filling them in. And then we're going to head on to John Gresch at ARRI is next.
Very good. I take it that you can hear me and that you can see my screen, Gary, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So you're going to have my voice during this time, and I'm going to go through what's new and where has our energy been within ARRI. As you can see with this top screen, we have the interface going stronger now between our lighting and camera divisions than ever before. In fact, we are eliminating, if you will, our actual thought process of this is camera and this is light. So let me just make sure that I can move my slide. There we go. So we have been quite focused the last 4 years on mixed reality productions, especially during the last 2 while COVID has been going on. Our stages at our ARRI UK office, which you'll see in a few moments, our offices outside of Berlin, as well as Babelberg Studios, and even in our Burbank office here, we have been researching the interface between camera and lighting in a very diligent way as it has to do with mixed reality production and what is the ratio of using traditional production products within a virtual reality, therefore a mixed reality production. So the next thing that I will do, and let's just make sure that it goes timely here, is point out at the bottom left to me, I assume to you as well, shows how the lights can actually float, be raised and lowered between top screens and the lower screens. Stefanukas Bradley will cover a lot of this with you, Gary, in session number 4 that you're going to have on the 18th. We'll talk more just in terms of snapshots today. Here's a close-up of the ARRI orbiters in use in the mixed reality stages and how it relates to the different screen work. This is a slide having to do with the Dark Bay project in Studio Babelsberg and the fact that our solutions group, which although based in Berlin, we have a division that Stefan heads up here for the US and that various people head up in other regions throughout the world. So the core is, what will the ratio be, not just of our products, the SkyPanels and the orbiters and so forth be, but other traditional production piece? I think that is a key question. It's being explored on a lot of different levels. But at the same time I say that, know that 1/3 of the orders we are getting on the lighting side is for HMI lights. And although we are not necessarily developing any new HMI technology, maintaining that product and the integrity of the return on investment that everybody has in their rental houses is key. So we stay focused on being able to keep the proper components. One little tidbit, when we started selling electronic ballast back in 92 and 93 to the HMI market, we were told to quote approximately 10-year life cycle, because that's what the components will be. And about 98% of all our electronic ballast are still active in shooting today. So day in and day out, we show our products. The big message here in these 5 minutes is the fact that not only in our breakout room, not only other sessions, but we're available to be reached both by foot and also that we can be reached virtually. We recently received an award for the actual involvement of the SkyPanel in its value in television, and we continue to ship SkyPanels by the thousand. Virtual demos are given in many locations throughout the world. They're always available to you. So in my last moment, what I would like to point out here is we have updated the ARRI photometric app. This is real key. This is what you saw in the past, and everything had the proper photometrics, but you could not choose much in the way of accessories. Now, you can get to the photometric calculator and say, what happens if I add any one of these light modifiers that's listed, whether they're soft bags or whether they are actual honeycombs, or if they're the ARRI intensifier, which before we would say it would double the output and half the beam angle, but here's the actual math for all of the fixtures. We'll talk about that in the breakout room, and that's why it's going to happen. So I want to thank you, Gary. I've taken all 5 minutes now, and I throw it on back to you.
There you go. Thank you, Ned. You have to leave me able to unmute myself. Thank you, John. That's really great. We'd like to think about that. Hey, Ned, do you have a question for me? Ned, I was hoping you were going to put the survey up. Okay. While we're working out the details on that, and now I'm going to go to Jesper Soerensen from ASTERA. He's going to demonstrate a couple of new products. Where are you there? And the poll is up. Everybody take a look at that. We're going to actually cover that a little bit later, and I'll let you do that. We'll end the poll in a little bit, but just give us an idea of where you're at with things. Jesper, are you there?
Thank you. I am here all the way from Munich. Greetings all the way to US, guys. I also have a couple colleagues with me on the side, and I want to talk a bit about a couple products, especially one of our bulbs. And then I also have a new product which we released and launched a couple months ago. First of all, the NYX bulb here comes in 2 different colors. So we also made a bulb, and as you know from the Titan tube, it has the same LED engine. So we have a huge wide range from 1750K and all the way up to 20,000K. So we still can reach this candlelight look. And of course, 20,000, maybe a more sci-fi look here. Now, it doesn't have a battery built in. However, it was very essential for us to have a normal looking like bulb, especially when using it as a practical on set. So we can, for instance, just take the bulb here, screw it into an AC socket, then we have it ongoing. We also have a DC solution, so an external battery option, so we also can run it from a battery. All right, I just want to show you here real quick because the power station here is a little bit special. It has the same display as the Titan tube, so this stays the same, everything. And once you have the power station here fully charged, you have the bulb running at maximum 3 hours on maximum brightness with the bulb here. Black and white, so you also can mix it into different environments just in case you want to hide it a little bit more. And also, when it comes down to different power options,
I think Jesper killed his audio.
My audio disappeared?
Yes,
You're
sir, it
back
did.
Oh, sorry for that, guys. Let me just try see here real quick. We just do like this, all right. All right, I should be back on now.
Yes,
But
I can
as you
hear you.
see-
That's good. Yeah.
Perfect. As you see in the video here, we can use it for a lot of different things, also as a practical, but also as a stage light effect. In fact, it does have a CRMX chip built in, of course, Lumen Radio shown here again as well. So we have a lot of options to integrate it and also control it with a lighting desk running it off wireless DMX. For instance, also in a theater here, you can also do it in a studio, running it off wireless DMX as well. Now, another way to power.
We lost you again.
Sorry, guys, I don't know what really happened there. Sorry for that. Anyways, I think you get the point also with the D-tap split cable, which basically just showed on the video, we can power up 8 NYX Bulb with 1 V-mount battery. Next up here is the PixelBrick. It's basically pretty new launched. It's a very compact and versatile light, which we basically can use as a standard uplight, basically add some ambient if we want to. We can also build shapes, and build shapes with the PixelBrick is very easy, and we can create some stunning things. The PixelBrick also have the Titan LED engine, so we still have the same good quality CRI TLCI at a 96 and above. I just want to show you here real quick. We have these slide-in systems, so it's very easy to take in and out. Then we can, for instance, take our little Brick Connect, click it in, and simply just connect the PixelBricks together like this. I'm going to show you a video also of some different use cases, both in the frame and also outside the frame. So as you see here in the video, there's many different applications we can use the PixelBrick for. Just as a little ambient, it is indeed a battery light, so it's very easy to just take, program, and also in the frame here create some very nice effects. Very versatile, compact light, and of course, when we talk about the bulb, which is rain resistant, IP44, and the PixelBrick here is IP65. All right, I think that was it from me, guys. Also looking forward to meet you in the breakout rooms. Sorry for the sound issue.
Thank you, Jesper. Yeah, audio issues are going to happen to all of us. We're going to all do it. I've already failed to unmute myself once. So, but thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the breakout rooms.
Sure.
Frieder, you're up next from Kino Flo Systems.
Hi there, everyone. Have you got me? You can hear me now, right?
Yes, sir, we can.
All right. So thank you for this opportunity to chat a bit. I guess the topic here was supposed to be looking forward. Where are we going to be in the next year? Well, the big changes at Kino Flo, as many of you may have already heard. You know, I'm now 68. I need a succession plan, and it's been 4 years in the making. But Kino Flo concluded a deal where we were acquired by Chauvet Lighting out of Florida. Chauvet Lighting is primarily a theatrical live event lighting company, very successful in that field. They have next to no presence in the broadcast television film world. And for that reason, I thought this was also a good fit. We're also, I think, a good fit on a corporate culture side. There's some great dynamics that we can exploit now as this joint company. There are a lot of instruments that are theatrical that have never really been film friendly. Primarily, spectrally, that there's no way you can harmonize many of those live event instruments with motion picture. So there's a great opportunity for us now to look at that range of product and see which of those instruments are going to be relevant to our industry. And we plan on introducing that in making Kino flowing them so that they become a more attractive element to our industry. Chauvet has, again, in general, live event rock and roll has been in the display panel, the VR world, for years before cinema picked up on it. And Chauvet is a company that's been involved in that for a while. And we're looking forward to bringing new innovation on that side as well. And I can discuss some of that in our breakout room. There's some interesting things I think as an industry we're going to be looking at because of VR production and whatnot. I also sit on one of the technology committees at Imago, and we're talking about metadata. Instruments in our industry are going to have to start embedding metadata if they're going to be working in a VR or an AR environment. And it's a matter of determining how all that is going to work. So I think there's a lot of really interesting, exciting developments that are going to be happening within the lighting world as it pertains to how do we now interface existing technology, how do we modify it so it works better with these emerging technologies such as VR. So I think when it comes down to it, there's going to be a lot of new products coming out of Kino Flo. We still are all the same team, all the same employees are on. I'm going to be involved in the company for at least the next 4.5 years. So I'm looking forward to a lot of the opportunities that are now going to be available to me as a company and to us, and to what we're going to be able to provide our industry. So in a nutshell, that's sort of it. Our existing lines are continuing very strongly. Our L80 is doing very well in the industry. Our freestyle products are doing well. So I'm looking forward to doing much more, and especially hinging all that on our color science and whatnot. So.
Thank you, sir. And metadata is an important part of this industry, and we have to start discussing it. I mean, we've talked about camera metadata for a long time. Now there's lens metadata, and actually integrating DMX properties and lighting control properties and everything into what's going on in virtual production is the next stage of our technology. And it's just allowing, you know, how do we get SMPTE to allow that, and how does it go forward is a real big part of where it is in every aspect of the rental community. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, and I think also with DMX, we all hate it, love it, hate it. And I think there'll be some interesting things as we move forward, not just from us, but from other manufacturers as we move forward.
I agree 100%. Well, I've been one of those people who's been on metadata for a long time. I've preached it for nearly 2 decades now, and along with tapeless and everything else. So I've seen the thing. One of the things I've been working on is lens data that we'll talk later on.
Sure.
Great. Thank you, sir. That was wonderful. A great introduction to it. Paul, you're going to come up with light gear next. So.
Thanks, Gary. Really appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. Really happy to be here on behalf of Light Gear for the PERG year-end technology roundup. So I'm going to share my screen here and walk you guys through a little bit about what we've been up to and what's happening here at Light Gear. So let's pull this up. Well, that was the idea, at least. Hold on a second. Where's my keynote? There we go. Gotta love technology. So what we're going to talk about today is our LightMat Spectrum product, running the new OS2 software, which has been out within the last year. And OS2 really unlocked a lot of capabilities that we had planned and was initially always wanting to build into Spectrum, just kind of ran out of time. So some of the few features here that we're going to discuss is our Audition feature, the Q Playback, which is actually really good from a local control standpoint, parameter presets, most importantly, all the new DMX personalities, and then Gradient Mode, which is kind of a neat thing. Audition is actually one of the simplest features that OS2 brought to, and quite honestly, simply a button that allows you to audition a light. Very often you bring a light onto a set, the cinematographer, the gaffer is going to ask you to audition, to toggle that switch on and off for those of us who have been in this business a long time. So Audition allows you to do that without actually losing any of the presets that you've set already. Again, super simple feature, but something that is really, really quite useful from a local standpoint. The next one, of course, is going to be Q Playback. This is a really interesting feature because it allows you to bring 4 separate looks stored right locally on the actual user interface so that you can set different, maybe as a door is opening or as an actor's coming in and out of frame. It gives you all 5 parameters of spectrum to set for each one of those Q presets. And then it also gives you the ability on the 4th one to either flash or bump that. So you could set potentially a lightning effect or potentially a red-blue effect for some sort of police light. But this is all, again, from a local standpoint. So you don't have to have a separate interface from either an iPad or a control desk of some sort. Puts that playback or those cues right at your fingertips. The next one is parameter presets. So we now offer parameter presets for each parameter for that matter, right? So intensity, CCT, accent, color, tint, all of that. So you can go in and set 6 separate ones. Of course, we preload factory presets on the unit as well, but you can change each one of that to really match whatever you're doing on set. So it gives you a lot of control depending on the specific preset that you're looking to set. So here's the real meat of the matter with OS2 for light matte spectrum is the 23 advanced DMX personalities. One of the things that we really loved about bringing Spectrum to market is we didn't obsolete any of the product that we had built prior if you're a rental company. So we offer 5 separate hybrid plus modes. So you can take Spectrum, set it in hybrid, and have it be backwards compatible with all the light matte plus product that you already have in your arsenal. In addition to that, of course, there are true hybrid modes, which are utilizing all 6 emitters, so the Spectrum hybrid. But most importantly are the RGB modes. What we're finding is, as John and others have mentioned through virtual production, is RGB mode allows you to actually feed video data for a virtual production environment, but yet also still have a Spectrum white point. So what we find is with our product is maybe you're bringing that in to actually light talent, but you want to have a subtle bit of that video data still accenting talent, but you want to be able to have that really good cinema white point. RGB modes allow you to do that. In addition, we offer those all in 8-bit, 16-bit, or pixel. So like on this Light Matte 4, you've got 4 pixels, so you can do all of those modes in individual pixels, as well as the gradient mode, which actually does a bit of an algorithm, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So here's an example of what gradient looks like. Of course, this is a CCT gradient. So gradient, again, is a local control benefit because you can actually set your A pixel and your Z pixel, and then the system, Spectrum OS2, is going to automatically calculate across whatever those 2 pixels are. So it can be an intensity gradient, it can be a color gradient, or it can be a CCT gradient in this case. One thing that's great because OS2 now allows both master and submaster dimmers. So this can be good up to 12 of the large format pixels, or in this case, 3 light matte 4s. Some of the other enhancements in this case, we have what we call the nudge feature. That's a very granular control of the various parameters that you're setting. We also have current sense, so you can actually tell light matte spectrum with OS2 how much current you want going to the head. Really, really powerful if you're using a battery or DC system, and let's say you only have a Hitron 140, but you're using a 150 watt or 200 watt light matte. You can actually tell the dimmer, don't give it any more than 100 or 125 watts. Really nice benefit. And the next one, of course, is the Dmx Transmit Mode. So these are some of the great features. Love to get deeper into this in the breakout rooms. We're really happy with light matte spectrum, and spectrum is actually something that's going to be coming across all the new products that we'll be introducing over the next 12 and 18 months.
That looks fascinating, Paul, and thanks for that quick breakdown for everybody. I hope that everybody, we have nearly 100 participants here. I hope everybody's getting something out of this. But understand that it's really difficult to do this kind of quick presentation, speed dating style in 5 minutes. And I give every one of the presenters so far, we're halfway through, and it's like people are keeping on time and staying with it. And that's been a pleasure to work with. I'm going to stop the share on the poll for a second. And everybody can take a look at the audience poll. It's kind of interesting. We've got a lot. Most of our people are rental houses or rental companies. That's pretty good. We've got 20% of the people are production crews. I thought that was pretty interesting too. Some vendors, some other people. But what's really interesting is that 56% of you came from an invitation from PERG. I think that's fascinating that more than half of the audience here came from an actual PERG email. That's pretty nice. And the rest of it, another 16% from social media. That's actually pretty fascinating that we're getting those kinds of numbers from everybody. Sean, if you're there, we're going to go to Lumen Radio next, and I'm going to turn it over to you. So
I am here, and thank you.
There you go, sir.
Thanks everybody for joining us today, and I'm going to expand on, I think you've heard our name a number of times already today with all of our partner companies, which we love working with. What I'm going to talk about is, as Frieder mentioned, the future, and what we've seen develop in the past, which is leading us where we're going, and that is the next generation of Lumen radio transmitter products. What we've seen develop over the past 15 years in providing OEM solutions is the exponential growth of wireless DMX use on set. I regularly see guys that are doing productions that are using 8, 10, 12 universes of data, a lot to do with the stereotubes and the number of channels they consume. But not just limited to those. Many fixtures now have a much larger DMX profile. So it was obvious that we had to deal with getting more universes out there into the world. But on top of that, we also had to deal with managing the spectrum better and how to both coordinate more universes, provide the same performance, distance, coverage area, refresh rates that people expect, alongside wired DMX installations, and then really integrate the features that we know people need and have been asking for years from a use perspective. So behind me, you can see this is Stardust and Aurora and Luna, our new box line. We'll move over here to so Stardust, this is now an 8-universe transmitter in one box. We maintain compatibility with all CRMX receivers that are already out in the world, as well as with our acquisition of Wireless Solution last year, which kind of got washed over because the world shut down about 3 days after we purchased them. We now have modes to go back and be compatible with anything you might find out there with WDMX radios in them. So we're really consolidating about 95% of the OEM integration market under one technology and going to refine that as we move forward. But the big important things are you can get 8 universes out of this box. You have Ethernet in, so your SACN and ArtNet inputs, as well as a Wi-Fi hub built into it, because we want to manage this for what's happening on set. Guys that are using a Luminaire blackout situation, all of the Stardust have a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi access point built into them, and allows that not just for streaming DMX data through an app-based, web-based program, but also for configuration, because Lumen, all of the Stardust have a web server built into them that allows you to just log in and do configuration, as well as having the front panel controls like this with a wheel, move, select your universes, do your setup in a way that it is useful without having to have an app, without having to log in over a network connection. You can also do Bluetooth configuration with the CRMX app. So multiple ways of setup, depending on whether you're a network guy, whether you're a day player, you need somebody to go over and hit the link button without knowing all the ins and outs of the other steps, creating multiple workflows depending on the environment you're working with, but allowing and managing the spectrum. Some of the big things that we bring in this, though, for future thinking is we've created something called Fleet Command. And that means that if I take 2 Stardusts to give me 16 universes on the same SACN network, those 2 boxes actually identify and start managing the spectrum within the both boxes, so that we're not talking on top of each other. What is at the core of Lumen Radio is called cognitive coexistence, and that's the ability to adapt and identify and change in real time, 1,500 times a second, so that we can maintain as much of the spectrum coordination as possible. And as we add more universes, this should reduce the amount of interference being created on sets by having multiple TX2 transmitters that don't know each other there, and so aren't really coordinating as well. But also making them computer-based learning, so that not every DMX tech out there has to be a frequency coordinator. For the rental houses, there's a master reset, so they come back into you, you hit a button, they reset, and you're ready to go. We also have it in a 1 universe module with the screen, a very simple 1 universe module box, everything with 3/8 and M10 mounting points for your clamp mounting, yoke mounting, everything you need, as well as compatibility with all of our existing customers out there.
Excellent, Shane.
Thanks, Gary.
And people don't think about all the kind of things that we discuss in here, but controlling radio and particularly for the lighting guys is so much more complicated than it is for camera, because of just the sheer number of units, and having that capabilities is going to be really important as we go forward in the future. Mr. Gross, you are up next with Prolight, I believe. So, are you there?
Camera and there we go.
Hey, it always takes it a minute, Mitch. You know how it goes.
Yeah. We all gotta learn the world here. Okay, so Prolight is it's spelled Prolight, but we just call it Prolight, and it is a new lighting company. It is an LED spotlight company. Here's our first product for the U.S. market, in fact, this is the Orion 300 FS. It has a cob on the front, and it has Bowen's mount, so you can use popular accessories. A number of manufacturers have that. It also has separate ballast with control panel on it, and it can have it comes with a pair of battery mounts, whether Anton Bauer or V mount, like you see here. I'm going to share my screen to show you what's really special about this light. It's not just another device. Let's go ahead and pick this one, my desktop. Okay, so hopefully you're now seeing that. Because what's important is that we do not have any white LEDs on our cob at all.
Mitch, sorry, real quick. We're not seeing your screen.
You're not seeing my screen, eh? Oh, let's see. There. That should do it, right?
Yes, sir. That works.
All right. Thank you. I get carried away with myself sometimes. Okay, so look at this thing right here. That is our cob. It is Rgb Acl, red, green, blue, amber, cyan, and lime. And we have strong reasons for doing this, because white LEDs, I'm not going to sit and lecture about all the different types of technologies, but they can have shortcomings. And you can see here all of these. This model was lit by lights that were claiming to be a white light, that is, in this case, 5600, and they actually all had very high CRI ratings, and I know there's also TLCI and all the various measures, but they all appeared quite different, and the skin tones appeared quite different. And that's because we're asking a single LED, a white LED, to cover the whole spectrum, and that's a lot to ask from it. And so we instead divide the light spectrum up into 6 different zones, if you will. And there's a lot of overlap between them, but because we do that, then each different color of emitter can be extremely accurate and very, very saturated for within their part of the spectrum. So just to give you a sense right here, this is multicolor versus a monocolor, bicolor, multicolor. So if you look at this wraparound area here, that is the range that we cover with Rgb Acl versus if you're a single color, you're just going to be right there. And if you're a bicolor, you're going to be between, there on the black body curve, except that when you mix between your bicolors, your warm white and your cool white, you might drift off that black body curve. That's a common issue that lights like that can have. We don't have that because we're taking information from all these different colors to get where we want to. So that's, now we have Rgbw versus Rgb Acl, and it's important, Rgbw, which is represented here, and that this can also refer to Rgb amber or amber W or things like that. Other manufacturers do have their color light, their RGB light, but they do it differently. They expect you to also be using some of your white LEDs in order, that are here in the middle, in order to fill in the rest of the color range. Well, if you have just red, green, and blue, here's your red, your green, and your blue, you're going to have areas that are not covered in that range. And if you fill in with any of the whites, or here's an amber, then what's going to happen is that you blanch out the saturation. It all starts going more to the white. Over here is the Rgb Acl range, and you see that we push out further into colors. Here's like in the cyan area, you just can't get there with a regular RGB type panel or cob. It just doesn't cover that part of the range. So that's something that you get this type of technology. And if I skip over to here, you can see if you only have 3 colors, red, green, and blue, and you try to adjust, well, your spectrum, you can only do so much fine tuning on it. But if you have 6 different points of color adjustment, you really can fine tune that color far more precisely and get to parts of the color spectrum you can't get to otherwise. So I'm drifting over my time here a little bit, so I can give lots more information if people want it in the breakout room. The Orion 300 FS is our first light. There are more to come, and it is pretty amazing technology.
And it's always really nice to see full spectrum lights back in vogue. I can't say that enough about it as somebody who's fought the early LEDs for a long time. We're moving along pretty fast here. We're doing a pretty good job today. And next up is Craig and Nick from RatPack.
Hi there. Hi there, I'm Nick from RatPack Dimmers. Unfortunately, Craig wasn't able to join us today. I have some of my other team members here just joining in and listening to these great presentations. And PERG, thank you so much for having us as part of your technology roundup. One of the things I want to address is the theme of the day is where are we headed in the future? RatPack Dimmers has changed their name to RatPack Controls because, as you can hear from ARRI and from ASTERA and from Kino Flo and Frieder and JGresch, we are headed toward a data-centric space. And we need to understand and be able to control these awesome fixtures and be able to send and receive data to them. So RatPack is changing the name of the company, and we are headed toward data-centric products like this Unity box. Now, some of you have seen this. I'm going to quickly go over. So we're going to start with just the node right here. We have an 8-port node, 8 XLRs. We have 2 universes of wireless DMX that I can send out of this box, and I have 1 universe of wireless DMX I can send out of the dimmer for a total of 11 universes. I am hearing from all over that people are pixel mapping ASTERA tubes and Hyperion tubes and pixel mapping ARRI products and needing enormous amounts of data on their stage. I just got off the phone with Bobby DeCellis, who is the rigging gaffer on Mandalorian. He told me they are running 150 universes of data. That is an enormous amount of data. Here we have an 8-port switch, RJ45, and down here we have a dual wattage dimmer, where each one of these ports can either take 1.2 kilowatts or 2K kilowatts. So 6 channels at 2K or 12 channels at 1.2K. And here is a universal knob where we can select the dim curve that we are preferring to come out of these outlets. So if I want an incandescent dim curve on channels 1, 3, and 5, and I want an LED dim curve on 7, 9, and 12, I can do that, and I can individually configure those, or I can use the knob and change a global setting so that they will be one of those choices. This is really important when you need to have switchable power. Let's say you need to cycle power to the fixture and turn it off and turn it on and be discreet about it. The guys really enjoy that. The gaffers really appreciate that function. This graphical user interface here can be configured. We can run unicast, SACN, and multicast and unicast. And the last thing I want to say is that the dimmer has an electronic ghost load. So if you have incandescent bulbs or Christmas lights or something that are misbehaving in the low end, you can turn on the electronic ghost load and control and get a better dim curve, a better, smoother dim curve. The product that you see right next to the Unity box is the little brother. It's called, this box right here also has all of the functions except for the hot power, 2 universes of wireless Lumen radio coming out of this pack. And, you know, I think it's important that we just recognize these fixtures are getting more and more data hungry, and we need to be able to control that data. So next year we'll have 2 new products. I can't really talk about those right now, but they will be data centric, and I want to send it back to you guys. And again, thank you for having Ratpack dimmers, and I'll have and be able to answer any questions that you.
Thanks, Nick. I really appreciate that. I got to meet Bobby earlier this year when he spoke at Filmscape Chicago. And since we haven't talked about it very much, I want to take a minute and just comment about that, because Filmscape is an educational non-for-profit based in Chicago, and we were really centered on training around for the film and television industry. And Nick, you and the team at Ratpack brought Bobby in, and I got to spend a good deal of time talking with him. And it shows the kind of educational content that we're going to offer to the rental community and to the industry at large from the Filmscape community here in Chicago. And we thank you for that, Nick. We really do. It was nice to have him here.
I want to say that Ratpack really prides itself on having our advisory board, and we're asking the guys who are, you know.
Lost him. Somebody cut him off. Oh, well, that's how that goes some days, everybody. I don't know what happened there, but Nick, we'll put you in a breakout room and we'll do that. You know, we're getting down to the end here, and Derek from Rob's Rain Hats is going to be next. Are we there? Is anybody here?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. I wasn't getting any feedback on my end, Derek. So it's all yours, my friend. I will let you go.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Derek Hammer from Rob's Rain Hats. We've been around for about 25 years. I'm here to introduce our new SACAN Dmx Wi-Fi enabled rain hats. No, just kidding. Seriously, we are we're here to protect all of the stuff that most everybody else, most of the other manufacturers on this call build. So Rob got started in this in the mid 90s in South Florida, and where it rains on sets every day, mostly doing rain hats for HMIs. We still do a lot of HMI work. We have some new products. This one back here is our newly designed waterproof hinge for the 12-18K 29-inch Fresnel model. And then we have some new stuff for some of the new HMIs. This is a 1600 Joker with the Jolico attachment on it, with the Source 4 barrel. It's a rain hat designed to protect that particular fixture, but then we also have a rain hat that fits it if you're just using it in its standard Joker mode. We have, and then we sort of moved on to doing some new stuff and developing some new products here in the last year and a half. Honda generators. We have the 2000 and 6500 7,000 watt generators. These generators are still made to be out in the weather, but we kept hearing from customers that they were worried and concerned that they had issues with the connectors being wet and the front panels of the generators getting wet. So we came up with a product that fits that, doesn't impede any of the ventilation. That's something that's really important to us with all of our products, that we don't, we try to really hard to make a product that doesn't impede the lamp's natural ventilation that the manufacturers design into it. So that leads me into like our one of our biggest and newest models is this SkyPanel 360 back here. We were getting a lot of feedback from gaffers that said that they needed something because they were trying to bag these on set. They were trying to use baguettes or solo screen or something like that. They were really having a hard time because their fixtures were overheating when they covered them up like that. So we came up with this design, actually came up with the S60 design first. All of these SkyPanel models have this vinyl cover that can be added to the back and to the front. The front side is an option. And then we also have developed these nice little units that if you want to run your power supply units separately from the head, you can run that little PSU rain hat on the bottom, or there is room back here in the back if you still want your PSU to be mounted on the head. In this case, it'll still fit underneath there and work just fine. So that's sort of the gist of it. I'll answer some questions in the breakout room if anybody has anything they want to ask about.
It's amazing to me how many people are doing so well on time today. We're getting down to the end here. We've only got a couple of people left. Thank you, Derek. Really appreciate it. Always loved having Rob's rain hats on set when I'm working. It makes a big difference there. Emily, you're going to talk to us about the new DMD Dash product. Hello there.
Hey, I'm Caroline Rolt with Roscoe. I'm the North American Film and TV Manager, and I'm here in LA. I'm usually based in Atlanta, but I've got Emily Stadulis here who's going to walk us through the Dash DMG product. And she's our LA-based film and TV senior representative, so she is going to take it away. Thanks, Caroline.
All yours. Go for it.
Thanks everyone for sticking around through the R's. It's been a lot, I know, so we appreciate everybody coming. So as Caroline said, I am delighted to introduce a brand new member of the Mix family to the Roscoe DMG lineup. So for those of you who may not be aware, the Mix family is a group of products that really takes Roscoe's 100+ years of Academy Award-winning color science. It combines that with our 15 years of manufacturing LEDs. And this is a product that we got together. It was designed by a DP, a gaffer, and an LED specialist. So this is a product line that is by filmmakers for filmmakers. So the family that's been existing and has been really, really popular with the large rental houses like MBS and Cinelease. We traditionally had 3 larger sizes that are used on set for larger professional shows. We have the Mini Mix here, we have the SL1 Mix, and we have the Maxi Mix behind me. And these fixtures are all meant to be highly flexible and modular, but rugged with a lot of output. So the best of both worlds. And now we have the newest version that takes everything that you love about the Mix technology and puts it in a really nice, easy, entry-level size and price point. So the DMG Dash is the newest member of the family, and this uses the same proprietary 6-chip LED technology that the rest of the Mix family has. And what's really unique about our 6-chip system is that we're not necessarily just cramming more additional LEDs in there to fill out some of those spectral issues that Frieder and others were talking about that you miss with a traditional RGB or an RGBW light. We go beyond that and we actually use broad gamut LEDs that we developed specifically for use with camera. So that not only gives you higher efficiency and better color quality, but also lets you avoid clipped images and nasty artifacts that you typically get when you are taking those LEDs that have been used in the live entertainment or architectural industry and try and put those on camera. So you get all of that professional lighting quality within this small package. It is made with a rugged aluminum chassis that is IP65, and it's really meant to be rental ready. So this guy can be dropped, it's under a pound, but it's really heavy, it's heavy duty, but really nice and easy to port around. You have the manual controls on the back with an easy to read display, as well as 3 1/4-20 mounts where you can put on third-party accessories or with the included accessories into our kits, C-stand mount, or my favorite, the really, really heavy duty magnet that allows you to really be able to run and gun and go everywhere like that. So in the kits, whether it's the single kit here or the quad kit here, which comes with the 4 single units, but then allows you to link them together with, again, a really easy proprietary system tool list to be able to make a 1x1. You have the ability to have several different modifiers included in the kit. You get a flat diffuser, a clear diffuser, and many people's favorite, the dome diffuser, where everything is magnetic. And launching in the next month, we will be adding our exciting thing that we've had from feedback on set is our new version that's going to have integrated CRMX Lumen radio chip. And that's actually going to be the new chip that will be able to speak to both CRMX, NW, DMX, and include RDM. So it's a professional grade light that now is in a really easy entry point where you can use in film, you can use live entertainment now by working through a console, ranging in price for $279 to $399 for the single kits and $1,250 to $1,750 for the quad kits. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it and have a great rest of your day.
Wow. And everybody is doing so amazingly well on time today. I don't have to fight anybody. I don't have a job here if you guys keep that step this good. Of course, we know it won't be this way when it gets to the camera and lens people. So, and last but not least, we have Tim Duff from Vitek. Tim, where are you? Come on in here and join us for the last few minutes, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, sir. How you
hear me
doing?
okay?
Yeah.
I'm doing great. Thanks to everyone for sticking around here.
The floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for sticking around. And I'm excited to talk a little more once we get into the break rooms. But I'll give a little overview of what's been going on at Vitek over the last year. It's been very exciting, a lot of new products, some acquisitions. I'll start by discussing the new Gemini 1x1 hard, which I have behind me here, which we released this last spring. It's done incredibly well for us, kind of taking all the great things that we offered with the Gemini 1x1 soft, having a nice compact light, 200 watts of power, tons of great accessories you can use along with it. But if you can see if it's not blown out, and maybe I'll just try to dim it down a little bit. But what's different mainly about this from the soft is we have an individually lensed fixture. So similar to what you would see on our ASTERA 6X, the old workhorse, that's done very well across the industry for that great punchy bicolor LED lighting solution. We now bring that similar technology to our Rgb WW fixture. So this particular fixture will give you that similar beam angle to an ASTERA 6X. So you're getting a 43-degree beam angle with a lot of punch with that full Rgb WW capability. But you're actually getting 3 times the output of the ASTERA 6X with this when you don't have anything on top of it. But you can also kind of take your kind of bare 43-degree beam angle and put on a nice easy magnetized diffusion flat panel on it, which could be kind of similar look to putting like a, an opal or something onto a Fresnel lens that kind of softens it up, and then can take that a step further by adding a dome diffuser on it. So you have an incredibly versatile fixture here that's lightweight, very well priced, great on battery. You have your single battery bracket that we do, just like for the 1x1. We also have a new 26-volt battery bracket for the Gemini 1x1, so you can actually get an hour and a half of output on full blast. So you're getting 3,000 lumens from 10 feet, 3,000 lux from 10 feet out of this fixture, which you can run on battery for an hour and a half, and getting that full RGB WW color. And even if you don't need full spectrum, full deep saturated light, getting that added color temperature value, we go from 2,700 up to 10,000 Kelvin, and plus and minus screen control with that, gives you just so much more versatility. So you get all that great use case that you used to get from your ASTERA 6Xs into this nice Gemini with even more output and full capability. So it's been a very exciting product for us. For some other lights that we now offer, you probably have heard that Vitek acquired Quasar Science this year, which is a great partnership for us so far. And they have their new product line with the Rainbow 2 and the Double Rainbow, as you see behind me. So these come in 4-foot and 2-foot, and the single double Rainbow 2 also comes in an 8-foot version. One of the longest tubes out there on the market. So you get very fine pixelation, as you can see. So that's been one of the major updates. So on the double rainbow, you're going to get 48 pixels of control on 2 rows here, and great effects that you can easily access via an app or even from the light itself. There's a lead follow mode, so you can actually take one fixture and be able to control all of your fixtures and even cascade an effect so that you can have a follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and have them kind of all time off of each other, which just gives you tons of capabilities without needing to necessarily even go to an app or a console. We also have their Q-Lion series, which is a great, handy, very simple light, bicolor. You can go to 3,000 Kelvin, 4,300, and then go down to 32. And it has built-in magnets and a built-in battery that'll give you 4 hours of life. This is the 2-foot version right here. There's also a 1-foot and a 7-inch version, which there's one kind of hiding in the back, lighting up my shelf back there. A couple other updates from the Rainbow 2 or the Rainbow 2 and Double Rainbow from the original Rainbow series, obviously the pixelation. There's also much more in terms of connectability and controllability. So this thing actually, all of these can be network nodes. They have built-in Wi-Fi, built-in Bluetooth. You have Ethernet in and out and Ethernet through. You can do DMX over Ethernet. You can do ArtNet, streaming ACN. Very important, again, in talking about all that's going on with virtual production now, you really need devices that can be controlled in a number of ways and give you that ability to not only connect, but communicate across a much larger network.
Amazing, sir, and always good information, and especially as we move forward into the digital world of what's going on with virtual production. I think that's going to be a reoccurring theme over all 4 days that we're going to talk in, because it's now gotten to the point where we have so much control that we have the ability to do stuff we've never had to do before on the production wise. And I think it's important for the lighting and everybody to catch up with that.